Welcome to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with Rebecca Hall Gruyter. In our program each week, we provide the tools, ideas, and encouragement to help you move ahead on your journey, becoming a more powerful and impactful woman in your own life. Now here's your host, Rebecca Hall Gruyter.
Welcome, everyone. I hope that you're having an amazing day. Honored to be connecting in with you. And today we're going to be talking about how to spring forward. That's been the theme of this month, is how to spring forward. Particularly, how do we do that standing in our power and shining, really owning who we are and stepping forward, bringing forward those things that matter to us most. How do we do that? How do we keep springing forward when we have things that we come up against? And sometimes it's coming up against others or circumstances or even ourselves. How do we navigate those waters and continue to spring forward? Today, I have two amazing guests that are joining us that are going to be sharing from their heart and from their wisdom and from their experience how to spring forward and shine. Excited to have all of you joining us today. And I hope that you remember that this time is for you. This is an opportunity for you to stop doing. You actually get to be present, breathe, breathing deeply, beautiful, and be. It's an opportunity for us to get to pour into you and share with you. So I hope that you're breathing, becoming centered, open, ready to receive all that is here for you, because I know there is something here for you by the very nature that you are tuning in today. Beautiful. So as you tune in, as you breathe, I invite you to take a moment and really center yourself. You get to slow down a little bit and become present. So I encourage you to put both hands on your heart, taking a breath in through the nose, out through the mouth like through a straw. Beautiful. And close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. And as you feel that heartbeat with both hands on your heart, what is it saying to you today? What wisdom or insight or reminder is it giving to you today? As you reflect on springing forward, what is it that you need to support you and to empower you on your journey? What do you need today, real time? Beautiful. Just receive that information. Great. Take a breath again. In through the nose, out through the mouth. Beautiful. Becoming fully present, eyes open. We're going to go around our virtual room here, and as we do so, I'm going to invite each of our guests to share just for a moment, 15, 20 seconds, what was laid on their heart when they took a moment to stop, pause, and listen. So with that, Linda, I'd love for you to share what was laid on your heart.
Just to fully be here now and be in this moment with all of you and be fully present. To be open to the wisdom, open to the joy, open to new learnings and experiences.
Beautiful. It's so important to remember to be open. I love that. Great reminder for all of us. Beautiful. And how about you, Jeannie? What was laid on your heart?
So my heart was, it was really good to just take a moment and pause, because I had some crazy things going on earlier today, and I found it difficult at first to just, slow down, and kind of hit the brakes and just go, wait a minute, check in right here, right now. It's
Yeah.
easy for me to get caught up in, oh my goodness, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And so it was great to just pause and say, hey, right now I'm safe. Right now, everything's okay. Right now, in this moment, I'm fully protected. And that was powerful.
Mm. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I'm glad we were able to hit the brakes there and pause a little bit. And I think that's important, to remember to slow down a little bit and become present. And right now is enough, and that you are safe, and that we have this moment to connect in and be and receive. So beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate it. And listeners, how about you? Are you hitting that pause button and becoming present to slow down a little bit and receive, being open to all that is here for you? I hope that you feel the connection of heart and spirit as we mindfully and purposely connect in, whether you're joining us live or you're joining us on the replay. We are still taking this moment. It is not time sensitive. So whenever you're listening is the moment that we are connecting in. Heart, mind, body, soul, and spirit with each other, with you. And I'm so excited about the conversation that we're going to have to support all of us in springing forward. So as we go to our first commercial break, I encourage you to stay present, slow down, be ready to receive. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit Facebook.com/Voice America.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
It's your world. Motivate, change, succeed. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that opportunity to slow down, breathe, center. It's so interesting as we do a live show and a production, we have these while you're having the commercial break and you're taking those breaths. Behind the scenes, we're connecting in and looking at what the next step is and the next things are. So I always like to take a moment so we can all take a breath and transition and become fully present as we connect in mindfully and purposely for our conversation. So even as we're handling some of those behind the scenes things, we take that moment to transition and become fully present as we all connect back in. So today we are talking about springing forward, standing in our power and really being able to shine, share out as we do that. I'm very excited to introduce our first guest. You got to hear from her on a heart level in the opening segment, and I wanted to share a little bit of her, a snapshot of her bio and background so you have a little bit of perspective and information about where she's standing and where she's coming from. So Jeannie Cisco-Meth is a 2-time best-selling author, a professional speaker, educator, and parent. She shares her scientifically proven system for improving communication and decreasing conflict. I think those are all things we can always lean into and use support in. She has appeared on TV on ACB4, Free Speech TV, and others. As a former member of the military, she had the honor of being sent to Officer Candidate School, where she learned leadership skills that she still uses today. They have helped her start 3 successful businesses. She is passionate about helping you overcome bullying and stand truly in your power. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and heart-centered Jeannie Cisco-Meth to the show. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
You are very welcome. Excited to have you joining us. And I wanted to start our conversation for those of our listeners that you're new to. Why is this work important to you? Why do you take this stand, particularly in the area of bullying? Why is that something that's so important to you?
So when I was younger, I was in elementary school, and they told me that I was too stupid, that I would never make it through school. And I had so many learning disabilities that many times I thought they might be right. But the tenacity and the rebel in me was saying, you don't get to decide, I decide. And obviously as an elementary school student, I wasn't thinking that profoundly as tenacity. I was just thinking, you're not the boss of me. And so I dealt a lot with bullying, and I had a big target, not only, because of my problems, but because I'm 6 foot tall. And so I put up with a lot of it. And I had a teacher in high school that really helped me. He was our basketball coach and health teacher. And there were others as well, my parents as well. But he really helped. And then when I became a teacher years later, because I wanted to help students, I wanted to make a difference and say, hey, you don't have to believe what other people believe. Then I slowly developed this program while working with them and helping them. And it has just been such a blessing, not only for me, but for many others as well.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that. And overcoming disabilities and then having that physical difference of being so tall can make you definitely a target as well. And I love that you persevered and you're not the boss of me, like you had that in you to take that stand, and had teachers and others and family come alongside you to support you on your journey. And I just celebrate that. And also wanted to take a moment and talk about this program a little bit that you developed over time, particularly in the area of bullying. Do you mind sharing a little bit of what you've discovered about bullying? And if you can give us a tip or two from your program that can help us, whether we are ourselves facing bullying in some way or we are seeing it, how can we shift that?
Beautiful question. Yes, would love to. So when I was a teacher, I would meet my students as they came into the classroom. I worked at an alternative high, which meant students who were in gangs and on drugs, and parents of sometimes 7 children, and they were 17 themselves. And so I would greet them, and I really wanted them to feel at home in my classroom. I wanted them to feel safe. A lot of times I'd bring food. And so it was really just kind of a family getting together to learn. And one day I was standing at the door, and a student was coming down the hall, and another student, we'll just say Timmy. Timmy was walking down the hall, and another student said something that I didn't think was real bad, but I could tell by Timmy's reaction he was almost devastated. And when he came in, I was like, buddy, okay? I'm like, what's going on? And I talked with him for a minute, and then we had to go on with the day. And then later on that exact same day, we'll call Brian. Brian was walking down the hall, and somebody said something to him that I thought was absolutely atrocious. And he walks into my classroom. I'm like, dude, you okay? And he's like, that guy's an idiot. And because those two instances happened so close together, I was like, what's the difference And I realized that nothing has meaning except the meaning we give it. And so while one student, Timmy, was devastated, it wasn't because of the words that were said. It was because of the meaning he gave to those words. And even though the other words were, in my opinion, horribly devastating, he didn't give them that meaning. And so I learned two very valuable things that day. One is, what's your meaning for something? And can you shift that meaning to shift your perspective? And the other one was, if I believe in me and I enjoy myself, I'm doing the best I can, and I accept me, then I don't need the approval of other people. And I don't need to let their labels define me.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I'm giving us all just a moment to take that in. What I love about what you're saying is that puts the power and the choice in our hands, not the other person's. I love that we can look at the meaning we're assigning to that, and can we shift that, how we're responding, how we're assigning weight to those words or to their behavior, and then really paying attention to what we're taking on, what we're bringing forward. I love that. Anything you would add to that?
Yeah, I would just say start peeling off the labels that aren't serving you and attaching, or at least writing out the labels that you want to put on, that you want to accept. And start putting them on. And if you have a piece of paper or a sticky note, start there. Actually visually see those new labels. See the old labels coming off and the new labels going on. And it's not a one and done kind of a thing. It is a process. And I've had clients as young as 10 years old and clients as old as 95 years old. And those labels must be pulled off. At some age, you've got to pull them off. I could have easily left the label of stupid on me. That was a label that was put on when I was young. It still gets stuck on me from time to time. Sometimes, okay, yep, I didn't research that. Yep, that was right. Or yep, didn't misspelled that, whatever. I no longer look at it as stupid. I look at it as human. I'm human. I made a mistake. It's okay. I'll do better next time. And so that's the label that I now wear. I'm stupid. I've peeled that off. I'm human, and I'm learning and growing.
And I want to take a moment here. I love that. I love that shift in that example. And I had the opportunity of seeing you present, and you physically had those labels as you were sharing and presenting, and you put them on like the sticky notes. You put them on, and then you took them off like name tags. They were like name tags, and you put them on, and it was so powerful and almost painful to see some of those notes and being placed on you. And then when you took them off and you put new labels on, new name tags on, new things you were claiming, it was very empowering, inspiring. And so I think this is a wonderful activity. And I encourage all of our listeners, add this to your toolkit. Here's something you can do physically, sticky notes, whatever you have that sticks that you can remove. What a powerful activity to do, and hold that space for yourself. And maybe even witness another, hold space for another if you're supporting someone in this. Really, really powerful. Thank you for sharing. I just so appreciate it. And I know I mentioned in your intro that you have a couple of best-selling books. And I wanted to give you a moment just for those of you, our listeners, are like, I want more. I want you to share some of the resources you've brought to the world and where people may find out about them.
So we have a home study course. It comes with a copy of my first book, Bully Proofing You, Improving Confidence and Personal Value from the Inside Out. And it's all about identifying that you are special and that you are needed. And then the first part is all about accepting you and starting to if not love yourself. And then the second part is about why people bully. And to sum it up, hurt people hurt people. And if I can remember that, when that person is attacking me, that they're in pain and it has nothing to do with me, then it's much easier to move above it.
Nice.
And then the third part is a step-by-step process on how to condition yourself to respond appropriately. Because when emotions are high, intelligence is low. And we do things when we're emotional that we wouldn't always do when we're thinking. And so it teaches you how to be emotional and to have emotions and still behave in an appropriate manner.
Wonderful.
And it also comes with a workbook and videos. And so, yeah.
Oh, I love it. And we're going to have time at the very end of the show where I'll have you share all your contact information so people can lean in and learn more about you and your programs. But I so appreciate you walking us through that as an example of some of the wonderful things that you're bringing to the world that can really make a big difference for us in this area around communication, and I love that, how we can respond differently when we are emotional versus when we are not.
Yeah.
Like the intelligence isn't quite as high at those moments, and that's a great reminder to take that breath and allow ourselves time to recenter. So thank you so much. Any final tips or suggestions that you have for our listeners to think about as we get ready to go to our next commercial break?
Be sure you're going to clean it off. Why don't you clean the words off? Or if you see somebody throwing mud, words, at a friend of yours or an acquaintance or even a stranger, help them clean the mud off. Let them know that, hey, this doesn't have to stick. This doesn't have to become a part of you. It can be removed. And I think if you keep that visual of that mud hitting you or that mud hitting someone else, then pull out your little washcloth and go over there and say, hey, let's clean this mess up and turn it into something better.
Beautiful. Thank you. So washcloths in hand, we're going to include that in our toolkit. And I love that reminder that we can also help someone wash that off, shake that off as well, that we can stand in that space. I mean, we can't always prevent or stop something from happening, but we can certainly come alongside and lend a hand and help bring a better perspective to that situation to just support. And when we come together, it's much easier to shift and move forward and clean those things up and off. So, and remove the labels that just don't belong. I love that. So thank you so much, Jeannie, for sharing. I really appreciate it. Great information, great tips and tools. We are going to our next commercial break. I should say that the time goes so fast. Our next commercial break. And I encourage you to just take a moment and reflect on, are there any labels that perhaps it's time to take off, and maybe one or two that you want to add on instead. And we'll continue our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Follow us on Twitter @VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message. It's time to serve, learn, change the world. Tune in each week for The Power of Young People to Change the World, hosted by NYLC's CEO, Amy Mewers. The program is a forum for both young people and the adults who love and support them. We make connections with others through stories of change, partnership, and new perspectives of issues facing the world today. Be sure to join us every Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time and 3 p.m. Pacific Time, or anytime on demand on the Voice America Empowerment Channel.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. That's EmpoweredConnectionsTV.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes and had an opportunity to think a little bit about what are some labels or mud maybe that you've been carrying around that it's time to just, take off, shake off, clean off, and really mindfully, purposely choose the labels we claim and that we own. And thinking about labels, one of the things we've been talking about lately is LinkedIn. And as we're talking about springing forward, I wanted to just share a few thoughts about LinkedIn. It's a great tool that you can really use in today's world to mindfully and purposely choose labels that you are using. So as we are talking about labels, one of them that I like to talk about is professional. So on LinkedIn, it's important that we have conversations. And there are important conversations that are happening around the world and what it means to be professional. I'm finding in particular, this month is also Women's Empowerment Month. So what an opportunity to visit our labels, to really look at how are we using that tool. Right now, LinkedIn members are talking about things like needing more flexibility around where we work or how we work, and even taking time away from the workforce to focus on mental health, because these things should not stunt career development and growth, but instead they should enhance it as how we show up on our own terms. Members are putting what's most important to them in their job titles, things like podcast host /activist /mom, or whatever titles or labels you are wanting to bring in. We believe professional is ours to define, and our authentic self is our professional self. So if your LinkedIn profile right now doesn't reflect who you really are, we encourage you to update your job title, update the information on there, post your truth, show the world the authentic professional you, and join the conversations redefining professional on LinkedIn. LinkedIn welcome professionals. Welcome the labels that you are claiming, that you are bringing forward and you're wanting to share with the world. I know for us in the work that we do in the transformational space, and we do a lot in echoing out experts and influencers in the world and helping authors as bestsellers bring their message forward. And we find that LinkedIn is a really powerful platform to do that. So we encourage you to check it out. Make sure that you are utilizing that, but you're claiming who you are authentically and powerfully in the world, in your profile, and what you choose to share out. So as we continue to talk about springing forward, standing in our power and shining, we want to use all the tools and resources available to us. And we've talked about the labels. We've talked about LinkedIn as a media that we can lean into. And I think we also really need to look at how are we bouncing back? How are we continuing to step forward so that we can thrive powerfully and purposely? And that's why I'm really excited to share and formally introduce our next amazing guest. You also heard from her in the opening segment when she shared and talked about being open. And so let me share a little bit about Linda. Linda Shively, like lively, so Shively, has been featured on the Wall Street Journal, is a best-selling author, an award-winning speaker, a neuroscience and mindset expert with over 30 years of experience. She is presented across the country from Walmart to Carnegie Hall. She has been a multiple guest and host on cable TV, featured on a film with Winona Ryder and Jeff Daniels, and even performed at the Rose Bowl for over 90,000 people. Wide range of experience she's bringing to the table. She has a BA in psychology, is a certified master life and executive coach, master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming, and is passionate about helping you bounce back and claim your best self with true joy. I love that she brings joy into all that she does. Please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, dynamic, and joyful Linda Shively to the show. Welcome.
Thank you, Rebecca. I'm so excited to be here again.
You are welcome. We are thrilled to have you back, excited to share with all of our listeners today. And I purposely didn't share much of your story in the intro because I wanted to have you share in your words some of your story, some of your journey.
Thank you.
Yeah, and why this work is so important to you. So the floor is yours.
Back in 2005, the middle of December, I had to make a tough decision. I had to decide how to escape an abusive marriage with my severely handicapped 3-year-old daughter, Jessica. Jessica's a bright-eyed, happy little girl. She loves preschool. She loves playing with her friends. She loves reading and playing with stickers. And she happens to have a condition called spinal muscular atrophy. It's a progressive neuromuscular disorder that affects her ability to crawl, walk, swallow, and even breathe. And with the strength of her index finger, she's able to zoom around in her power wheelchair and use a communication device. And I know we're on radio, so you can't see, but her eyebrows are so animated and they go up and down with excitement when she's trying to express something. Mine, I just can't do it like she can. And she brings me so much joy. Yet my marriage keeps me on high alert. I never know when he's going to explode. I start to begin to believe the lies and the crazy making. And I think if I do what he wants, everything will be fine. But that doesn't happen. It's not a healthy place for me. It's not a healthy place for me to raise my daughter. Yet I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go, how to take care of her on my own. There's just so much. And finally, on a Tuesday, I bring her home from preschool and I put her down for her nap. And I look at her nurse and I say, you pack her medical equipment. I'm going to pack her clothes and her toys. And as soon as she wakes up, we're going to escape. After a flurry of activity, Jessica wakes up and we leave. Exactly 2 weeks later, 2 days after Christmas, I hold Jessica in my arms as she takes her last breath and dies. And from that moment on, I struggled to see any purpose in life. I struggled to know what to do, where to go, what to even believe. And I finally realized there was one missing component, one missing key that I hadn't had, and it had been escaping me for a decade. And that missing key that underlies everything is true joy. Mm. And when I realized that, my world began to change.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing.
And now I bring that joy to other people.
And I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And I'm just giving our listeners a moment to take that journey in the fear of being in an abusive situation like that, and the joy and complications of taking care of Jessica and making the escape, and then the passing of your beautiful daughter, and all of that weight you were able to start to shift into healing. And it sounds like that true joy was the key that helped move that forward in a positive way for you. And I celebrate that you take that stand today to walk beside others and help them in that journey. And I'd love for you to share a little bit about what is true joy? Because I think we may have lots of different thoughts about what that is. I'd love to know what true joy is, this magical, wonderful, amazing thing that can shift things so powerfully for us. So if you mind sharing, I would love for you to share what is that and how is that a key? Why does that matter? How does that help us?
True joy, I feel, is something that underlies everything. We often think of, oh, well, I'm just going to plaster on a smile and I'll be happy. And when everything is around me is working well, then I'll be happy. And that can shift, and it isn't real. Where joy exists, even where things are sad or hard or challenging, you can still have that joy. And I know that is counterintuitive, but I love Pixar. If you've ever seen Inside Out, and if you haven't, spoiler alert, you need to see it. And they talk about the combination between joy and sadness. And they can coexist, and it actually makes life more rich and meaningful. And so no matter what goes on, I believe that true joy, when it's there, can help you get through anything and can help you start to see what's possible in your life and reframe things in a way and look at things differently so that you can actually live your best life.
Great. Beautiful. Thank you for helping us understand that a little bit more deeply and the difference between that just kind of temporary feeling or emotion or faking it kind of thing to the real depth of how it can coexist and support and move forward. And I know there isn't just a magic switch and suddenly we just move forward and everything is groovy, that there can be obstacles, things that we come up against. And I'd love for you to share a little bit, because you're a specialist in these things. I'd love for you to share a little bit of what are the obstacles and what do you like to call them?
Well, thank you. These obstacles that we have that steal our joy, I like to call them my joy-stealing dragons. And I'll share a little bit about them. And don't worry, I've named them to make it easier. There's second-guessing Sally, who always wants you to second-guess every decision that you have. And then there's no good Nancy, who wants you to believe that you were not born good enough. No matter what you do, she's like, oh, you're not good enough, you can't do that. Or when you succeed, she'll say, you could have done it better. And then there's perfect Paula, who wants everything to happen just so before she'll take any action, or she'll prevent you from starting something because it just isn't going to be perfect. And so then you don't write your email, your book, your speech, whatever it is. You don't do it. And then judging Jenny. Judging Jenny is complicated because she wants you to judge other people so you feel better. And then she thinks everybody's judging you so that you don't feel good. And it's just a mess. And social media, that's her playground. She loves social media.
Beautiful.
And then there's overwhelmed Ophelia, because overwhelmed Ophelia wants you to have a tremendously long to-do list and a packed schedule, making you feel like that, I'm so busy, is a badge of honor and is feeling special because of it. Yet really, it drives you crazy. And so all of these dragons, if you let them in, just derail your life and keep you spinning and not being effective and not being happy and taking your joy away.
Thank you. I think many of us can identify with those dragons. And I know that we're getting close on time here, and I don't want to leave people hanging where they've just identified dragons. And now what? The dragons are flying around. How can we tame those dragons? How can we be aware of them but not have them stop us?
Well, one thing is to live a better story and to retell the story in a way that's powerful for you so that it's not believing what they're telling you. It's making the meaning something that you want and telling time what to do so that you're not following along with just letting it all happen and someday things will get better, but not actually doing anything about it, and directing the time to do what you want to do. And choosing your voices. You know, we have voices coming at us both externally and internally. Yeah. I mean, Rebecca, I know we all talk to ourselves. And that inner critic is so mean. If you said what that inner critic says to you, to anybody else, they would never be your friend again. But yet that inner critic is constant. And so understanding what you're letting into your mind and how you're receiving it and being able to change it and say, no, I'm not going to listen to that. No, I don't want to have that in my life. And the biggest piece for all of these dragons is to take action. If you actually do something, take that action, that will tame all the dragons. It's an amazing, simple solution, but often we find ourselves not doing it. And that's the challenge, is actually
taking. I love that. So we make it more complicated than it needs to be. So that reminder of taking action will slay the dragons. It'll tame the dragons. And I suspect this is an ongoing thing. Like, the dragons are very resilient and strong.
Yes, unfortunately, they are.
So it sounds like this is something that is an ongoing, almost a way of being, and taking action and continuing to move through and being aware of them and navigating. Do you have any final tip that you would bring to that mix?
Well, that's why I talk about taming them as opposed to slaying them, because they're probably going to be there, but how do you live with them, and how do you actually do something about it? And so that being able to take action, and I do have a quiz that I'll share with you later that helps you understand which of those dragons is most important or I should say most active in your life in this moment, because they're all active. Everybody has all of them at some point in different contexts, and sometimes all at once. And understanding what you can do for that particular dragon will be what you will get from taking that quiz. And so I encourage you to look into that.
I love it. I love it. So thank you that it's taming, not slaying. Important difference of understanding that. And there is a journey with it. And I love that you're going to make available a little bit later a tool that can help us identify which dragon is most active right now, so that we can, and what to do about it. So I love that we're not alone in this with dragons flying everywhere, but we have support, which is amazing. We are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, listeners, I want you to think about some of what Linda has said. And did you identify maybe with one or two of those dragons that she described? And when we come back, she's going to share where you can go to dig in deeper to that and get some support. So we'll look forward to continuing our conversation in just 2 minutes.
Voice America is on your favorite smart speaker. If you have Alexa or Google Home, go ahead and give us a try.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast on TuneIn.
Announcing a powerful new TV channel featuring programs designed to enhance and transform your life. Make powerful connections, one program at a time. And by doing so, we can bring transformation to the world. Tune in each week to Empowered Connections TV as we add new programs to help you make empowered connections of your own. Visit empoweredconnectionstv.com. That's empoweredconnectionstv.com. And make the most of an incredible life transformation.
You need to live up to your full potential. You've heard that for years, but now there's a channel to help you get there. Introducing the Voice America Empowerment Channel. Our listeners have told us that they want to be motivated, hear about success stories, and positive encouragement around the clock. And we've responded to you. The Voice America Empowerment Channel is the home of the world's top life coaches, entrepreneurs, and success experts. Listen to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. It's here at voiceamericaempowerment.com.
Rebecca Hall Greider's Speaker Talent Search is looking for speakers wanting to get on more stages. With just one audition, you could open the doors to hundreds of speaking opportunities, reach more people, and expand your impact. Finalists get to audition live in front of leaders looking to fill all kinds of speaking opportunities. Apply now at SpeakerTalentSearch.com. That's SpeakerTalentSearch.com. We look forward to hearing your message.
Find out what makes the most successful people tick. Keep listening to the Voice America Empowerment Channel. VoiceAmericaEmpowerment.com.
You're listening to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives with your host, Rebecca Hall Greider. If you have a question or comment for Rebecca or her guest, we'd love to hear from you. Please call into the program at 1-888-346-9141. That's 1-888-346-9141. You may also send an email to Rebecca at yourpurposedrivenpractice.com. Now back to Empowering Women, Transforming Lives.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed those 2 minutes and maybe identified a dragon or two, or you might be not sure, but it's something you're curious about and wanting to discover a little bit more about. So with that, I'm going to have Linda share her contact information, where you can go deeper, and particularly where you might be able to tap into that quiz to further identify the most prominent dragon right now that you might be dealing with. Linda?
The way to get the quiz is go to myjoydrivenlife.com/Rebecca. And you'll find the quiz there to find out which of the joy-stealing dragons is active in your life. That's myjoydrivenlife.com/Rebecca. And find out which one's active and what to do about it. With some great tips and an opportunity, if you have questions, you can even have a conversation with me and we can talk about those dragons for you. And the other way you can reach me is at my website, which is lindashively.com. And you can see about other things that I have available and look forward to connecting.
Beautiful. I love it. Well, thank you so much. And I like that joy-driven life. That makes me happy. So beautiful. Thank you for making that available to our listeners today. I appreciate that. And then, Jeannie, I wanted to have you share how people can go deeper, connect in with you. I know you described your wonderful program, so I'd love for people to know how they can connect in and go deeper, as well as investigate or possibly lean into your program.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would love to offer a 1-hour personal mentoring appointment with me. That's a $297 value, and I'd like to give that for free to any of your listeners today as my gift and my way of saying thanks. And the way you can get that, there's a few ways. The beautiful thing about my name is I am the only Cisco meth on the internet. And it is spelled just like the computer accessories and drugs. So if you type in Cisco Meth, CISCO -meth, METH, I will pop up, I think, the first 12 pages of Google. And you can send me an email to Jeannie at Jeannie Cisco Meth. That's JEANIE, and then Cisco Meth. And I would love to help you out and spend some time, because there are certain things when you're taking out your washcloth to help others that are empowering them and others that take their power away. And so it's very important that you utilize the proper phrases, and I would love to make those special for each one of your listeners. And so you can send me an email or find me on social media and just let me know that you heard me today.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing and making yourself personally available like that. I truly appreciate that. And I love that you are listed, the only Cisco Meth listed. That's powerful. You have claimed that label in that space and own it. I love it.
I have. I'm the crackhead teacher. I'm just saying.
Oh, so much fun. So I encourage all of our amazing listeners to lean in to these wonderful resources that are being made available. And I had a conversation the other day with someone, because I use the phrase lean in quite a bit. And we had this discussion that maybe not everybody knows what that means, or it means something different to each of us. So one thing I'd love to ask is, what does it mean to you? And for me, it means leaning in, like going deeper, moving forward in a certain way, moving with intention, or going deeper with intention and purpose. I'm leaning in, I'm buckling down, I'm going forward in this way, in this area, and bringing that energy. So I think it's great to explore and look at, what are you leaning into? What are you choosing to bring forward? And perhaps you are called to take a stand, to share, to bring a mission forward, to share your wisdom, advice, journey, or expertise. And if so, I wanted to bring to your attention again, LinkedIn is a great platform you can use. And we have something called the Speaker Talent Search that you can find at speakertalentsearch.com. And it's a way for you to get your message out there. So it's part of our give back. There's no cost to participate. You can go to speakertalentsearch.com. There's a deadline coming up of March 31st. So make sure you check it out if you feel a call and a pull to get on more platforms, be on programs or shows, and speak your message. We'd love to support you. And as you get ready to go forward, to go back out in the world, I want to invite you to lean in, spring forward, be willing to take a stand for you, because you are a gift. You're absolutely needed in the world. And the biggest gift you can give the world is sharing more of you. So look for a way to share and to shine the amazing gift of who you are out in the world. Have a great week, everyone, and we'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for joining us this week for Empowering Women, Transforming Lives. Please tune in again for another edition with your host, Rebecca Hall-Gruyter, next Thursday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific, on the Voice America Empowerment Channel, with a replay on Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern and 1 p.m. Pacific on the Voice America Variety Channel. Have a beautiful week, and may you always bloom where you're planted and shine.